Hello everybody, my name is Jeffrey Tuziant and I am here to help you draw some custom stairs. The purpose of this video is to go a little bit further into the stairs tool that we have in Revit. Because of your exposure to Revit, you probably already know the fundamentals of starting the component stair tool by going into the architecture tab and starting the stair tool in the circulation panel, and then you could just start your stairs and stop your stairs, making it create automatic landings using the run tool and the components, and creating spiral staircases that are full step and center end, your two winder types of stairs, but very likely just using the straight stair to start and stop stairs as you needed to in order to have it automatically create landings for you and automatically place your handrails for you as well. The purpose of today's video is to go a little bit more into custom stairs. In addition to the 5 stair types I just covered in review, the 6th option here is to just create a stair based on its sketch. Before we go into that, I want to point out that stair by component requires you to draw the run of the stair and then add landings if you need to add landings because you weren't doing them automatically. And then the 3rd option is adding or subtracting the supports that are automatically created for your stair systems. But when we go into the create sketch option, you're going to see that there is 3 new options that are required in order to draw your sketch stair option. The fundamentals for these are going to be your boundary and your riser. Your boundary almost always consists of 2 lines. It's always going to be the left side of your stair and the right side of your stair. And then the risers are going to be exactly what they sound like, the actual riser parts of the stair that will represent the last part of the stair that connects with your upper floor, the first riser that starts your stair, and then the number of risers that are going to be required in order to go between your floors. So that's what we're going to have to figure out, how many steps that we're going to need in order to get to our next level. And if you look here, they'll always have a calculation at the bottom telling you how many risers you've created versus how many are remaining. But once again, let's take a step back and get out of the sketch but still stay into the stair tool. The base level is always going to be based on the level that you started drawing the stairs, which is also why it's important to be in the floor plan of the stair that you want to start the stair on and not in a 3D view or any other view. The top level is always going to be the level that is above the one that you're on. So in your project, when you're going from first floor to second floor, you might need to consider whether or not it is catching a level in between, such as your mezzanines or any half walls or any reference planes or level lines that would be named in a way where the stair tool is going to pick it up. So for the most part, your base level and your base offset is always going to be set correctly, but it is a really good habit to check your top levels of your stairs before you even get into drawing the stairs, so that whether or not you are creating a component-based stair or a sketch stair, you will always have the correct calculations for the height between your levels. And that's what we see down here. The desired number of risers is going to be a calculation based on the height between your levels and the calculations that you have built into the stair types that you are using. So let's get into creating a custom stair by sketch. If we're back in that create sketch tool, which is by going into this stair tool and then going to create by sketch, we're going to know that we're going to need 22 risers. So if I wanted to create a straight stair, just so we can get a idea, just to ground ourselves, I'm going to have a left side stair, left side of my boundary, and a right side of my boundary. And then we're going to go into our riser tool, and this is where we have to draw our risers. We don't have the assistance of Revit calculating out what our distance is between each of these treads. That is unfortunately the disadvantage of going into the sketching tool. So this is where you're going to have to get into your basics of learning calculating the stairs, which you may have covered in codes or an early studio class. But we're going to need to draw in our risers based on distances that we would need to calculate. But just getting into developing the form of these stairs. We have our left and our right boundary line. We're always going to have an end riser line, and we're always going to have a start riser line. And then you just need to go from there and figure out how else your lines are going to be calculated out. You can use the copy tool. You'll see that array tool is not available in this. These are monumental stairs. You don't have to necessarily worry about code because you have to provide more accessible stairs in other parts of the building. So this is where you can just copy the line up 1 feet intervals until you get the desired number of risers, just copying it up 1 foot. Because then I'll just trim this out using my trim tool. I'm going to trim this top part so that the boundaries align with the top riser. It's got the desired number of risers in order to go the levels that it wants, and then I can go ahead and finish the tool. That's going to finish the sketch, but it's still going to allow me the option to connect this stair to other levels, modify the railing, flip the direction, and so on. So let's go ahead and finish it and see what we got. You're going to see we've got stairs. They don't look too exciting. They're just going to look like the stairs that we would just do by component if we just made it on a run. So let's get into something even more custom. I'm going to go back into the first floor. I'm going to delete these stairs away. I'm going to start the stair tool again under the architecture tab. I'm going to go into the create sketch tool, and then I'm going to create my 2 outer boundaries. So for now, I'm just going to use one of the arc tools. My favorite arc tool is the start end radius because it allows you to just start a line and then end how long you want the length of that semicircle or arc to be. And then you can worry about what you want the radius of that arc to be. So let's give it something easy to replicate, like 8 feet. And then I'm going to create another 10-foot length, and it's going to try and snap that tangent for me. And then I'm going to select these boundaries and just copy them over, let's say 8 feet. So that gives me the boundary of my stairs. Again, a left line and a right line. And then we get into our risers. Still wants 22 risers. So I'm going to start with my end and my start, assuming the bottom is the start and the top is the end. And then I can get my middle. And then I'm just going to try and copy around as evenly as I can. I just essentially kept drawing, or in my case, copying around riser lines until I got the number of risers that it wants in order to go between the 2 floors. Now that I've got those drawn, I can press the checkbox. It's going to add the direction that it assumes it's going to be going, and then I could do one more checkbox. And it's having a hard time with one of the rails. Let's go see what was wrong. It looks like it might be having a hard time calculating some of our rail tangents out. But that might be just how tight I've got the corners on here, which is again the advantage of having a spline, because then you don't have these weird crimping corners that can confuse the geometry. That would have to be a day where we go into modifying our railings. But that is the fundamentals of getting into drawing a stair by sketch. Now that should be enough to get you started, and I'm going to be around for the next couple weeks to help you all out with these. So as I continue to get more questions, especially more consistent questions that are similar amongst people, I will add more videos and delve further into the world of stairs. It is helpful to remember that in construction, stairs and roofs themselves are complicated. So if you're having a hard time with them in Revit, it is very likely not due to your skill as a drafter. It is just simply due to the fact that the systems that you are working with are very complex on their own, and the more you are trying to customize them and the more that you are trying to push the program to its boundaries, the more you're going to have to meet in the middle with the program to get it to represent as much as as you can. You may need to consider using other programs, like if you want to do this in the future and you want to create custom systems like this, maybe you are going to be restricted with just wanting to use Revit. It might help for you to learn another third-party software like 3ds Max to help supplement in the modeling that is a little bit more difficult to do in Revit. Another option to consider in Revit is that Revit allows you to create families and masses that will allow you to add to your stairs and to other elements in your project to enhance them in ways that can't normally be done with the tool. If you can't get the form under your stringer or under your stairs or along your railings doing exactly what you want, instead of trying to fight the options that the stair tool is affording you, maybe look into the things that massing in place and creating custom families and adding in walls and using other tools in Revit can help out as well. So in review, when you're creating a stair by sketch, you need to make sure that you have the correct stair selected, you have the constraints for its bottom and top going the way that it needs to be set, and you are noting the desired number of risers. Although it will notify you, this is going to be an important number after you've set your constraints. And then, once you start your sketch, you need to have a left and a right boundary. Let's do something more interesting. And then you need to have the number of risers required to meet that number that we saw that was important before, which is also listed down here. You may need to do some calculating to figure out how long your boundary lines need to go in order to get the perfect number of risers. You can trim down your boundary lines to fit the size of the number of risers that you need. So if I was to copy this up again, and 1 foot until we get the number that we need. And I do my trim extend multiple elements. I can trim this down to make this the size that I need. Because remember, you don't want to have lines that are sticking out, otherwise your model's going to get angry at you. And we can go whatever size stairs that we want. If you're ever creating a stair also, and it is facing the wrong direction, just know that you can select the stair while you're in creation and click the flip button over here. Or if you're out of the stair creation, you can select the stair when you're in a floor plan and you can click the flip button here. So you do not have to start your whole drawing over. So thank you all for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in class, and please reach out with any questions that you've got. So thank you for joining.